Hello, my name is Linda Moore, and I'm the curator of collections at the Fort Collins Museum of Discovery. I'm excited to bring you some local women's history this month, while our country is celebrating the 100th anniversary of the ratification of the 19th Amendment. Today, I want to talk about Polly Brinkhoff, known and celebrated by many local people who had the opportunity to know her, and by many others who, like me, know her only by the stories and the artworks that are her legacy. Polly Brinkhoff was born in Kansas City, Missouri in 1915. She was named Linnie Powell after her father, Lynn Powell. Polly was a nickname she came by later. When she was a very young woman, Polly's adventurous spirit took her to a carnival in Cassville, Missouri, where she hoped to ride in a bucking horse competition. Joseph Finley Brinkhoff was at the same carnival, however, and according to Polly, they both ended up with a change of plans.
We were met at a carnival once. It was in Cassville, Missouri. I was going to see about riding a bucking horse, and he was interested in wrestling there. But we went there. He didn't wrestle, but he refereed the wrestling. And I didn't ride the horse. I met him instead. Didn't ride the horse.
In 1938, when Brinkhoff, who went by Jack, was 42 and Polly was 23, they were married. In the early 1950s, the promise of work for Jack brought Polly, him, and their burgeoning young family to our region. When that promise fell through, the Brinkhoffs needed to find a creative solution to their precarious financial situation and lack of a home. Following a tip from a friendly local, they took up a copper mining claim called Hole in the Wall at Skin Gulch, just off the Stove Prairie Road. According to mining rules established in 1872, 600 feet along a vein and 1,500 feet on either side of it may be staked, and by completing a minimum of assessment work, one earned the right to live on this land. This is how Jack and Polly established the mountain cabin home where Polly would live for the next 47 years. The couple built the cabin themselves out of boards and slabs they found at surrounding sawmills. Life there was without modern conveniences. 2 wood-burning stoves were used for all their cooking and heating. No electricity meant oil lantern lighting. Water came from an artesian well, and the copper mine itself acted as their refrigerator. This simple life allowed them to maintain their family on Jack's veterans pension, Polly's seasonal work for the Forest Service, and the sale of Polly's artwork. The way she embraced the rustic conditions of her mountain home provided some of the stories that built Polly up as a local character of note. Another was the reputation she built as a competitor in an annual Borough Race that was run from Leadville, Colorado to Fairplay over Mosquito Pass. This 24-mile race climbed to 13,182 feet, and racers were required to lead a donkey carrying a pick, a shovel, and a gold pen, plus enough weight to equal 33 pounds. Polly took on this challenge 8 times, and her partner for every race was a donkey named Loco, purchased for $19. This team won the women's division on their 3rd attempt, completing the grueling trek in 5 hours and 45 minutes. Anyone who ever visited the Brinkhoffs' cabin will tell you about the signs scattered everywhere around the property. While many of these appeared menacing, a skull and crossbones, for instance, a warning that trespassers will be eaten, Polly insisted their intention was just the opposite. The signs made people curious and drew them up here to visit with us, she responded when asked. The skull theme was just in keeping with living in a place known by the grisly title Skin Gulch.
How'd you happen to go about putting all the signs up and all the things to scare people? There were crossbones down on the stone.
That wasn't meant to scare people. That was meant because the name of the gulch is Skin Gulch.
Oh.
And the reason I put that up is because the government had Forest Service had put up a sign, Skin Gulch, and somebody'd steal it. I don't know why they're always stealing signs. And so I put one up, and somebody steal it. So I thought, I'll just paint it on that rock. It used to say Skin Gulch above the skull.
And then about to steal the rock.
The skull, like skin, just go for the name of the gulch pretty good. It used to be called Cowskin Gulch. Old Gabe what I told you about, said that got its name from some guy found an old cow skin in the gulch here, so he just named it Cow Skin Gulch because he found a cow skin in it, some cow that's died. And they just later left the cow part off, so it's just called Skin Gulch. That's how it's got its name.
Yeah.
Even more than stories or signs, the main way Polly stays present in our community's imagination is through her artwork, which she left on an almost unlimited variety of surfaces, on wood, like this painting with three-dimensional embellishments, and also on old frying pans, cans, cattle bones, rocks, even an occasional canvas. A piano at the rustic resort holds an especially striking panorama. Polly chose a pretty menacing-looking ice saw for this whimsical scene, full of local landmarks and animals. Recently, I took a drive up Wrist Canyon to hunt for one of Polly's best-known pieces, which takes the form of a decidedly unlocal animal. I'd seen a photo of Whale Rock taken in 2009 on the wonderful Lost Fort Collins blog, and also had heard rumors that it was gone. I needed to see for myself. On the day we made the drive, the sky opened up with pounding rain and hail that turned the winding road into a stream. Just as we were looking for a place to turn around and give up, I caught sight of what I thought was a bright blue domed tent. "This is the last place I'd want to be camping right now," I said. "That's it!" my daughter cried. And as we turned around and came back past, it was clear. Polly's whale is not only still there, but apparently has a fresh coat of paint. Some other day I'll have to get a picture. Pollys Famous, some say infamous, husband, Rattlesnake Jack, died in 1970, and she lived alone in her mountain cabin until her own death in 1999 at the age of 84. Her status as a woman in history comes not from being a first or a best, but through the power of a personality that spread itself across unlikely surfaces in paint, and that left a lasting impression among so many. Everything I've seen published about Polly inevitably carries a string of comments from all the people who each have their own Polly story. Polly's grandson Jack, for example, found his grandmother especially inspiring. "The biggest thing I learned from her," he said, "was that when she set her mind to something, she got it done. She was always upbeat, and her favorite saying was, 'No sense in worrying about it.'" I'd say that's advice we can all use. Thanks for that, Polly, and thank you for joining me today in celebrating this Fort Collins woman in history.